Hey folks, my name is Emily, and I'm going to be part of Peculiar Interests here. So, my peculiar hobby is that I make jewelry, and I make jewelry using chainmail. So, my chainmail primarily consists of the Byzantine weave, which is an ancient weave all the way back from the Byzantine Empire, who would have guessed, and something called European 4-in-1, which is pretty much the traditional weave you see on TV shows, you see in armor from knights all over Western Europe. So that's my particular favorites. I also very occasionally do half Persian, but it's really tricky, so I haven't done it in a while. So today I'm going to show y'all a little bit of my jewelry making stuff. So we're going to be making or finishing up one of these. So this is a bracelet using sterling silver, 14 karat gold filled, which is like gold plate, just with a slightly higher gold content. And we will be finishing up it twin today. So this is the in progress. So we're going to add a few more links to it, and then we'll put that finished toggle on it, and then we'll mail it off to the person it's going to belong to. So I got started in chainmail probably about 6 years ago. I started doing it after doing a lot of found object work. I worked with a lot of steampunk stuff. I picked apart pocket watches, that kind of stuff. And the pocket watches got really expensive because everybody figured out they were cool. So I had to find another hobby, and I just kind of fell into chainmail through YouTube. It's how I learned how to do it. It's how I kind of got obsessed with it, and I'm still doing it and still having a lot of fun with it. So, Byzantine is deceptively simple. It's probably my favorite weave to work with just because of the simplicity and how pretty it turns out. And it's not too terribly time consuming compared to some of the other weaves. So, Byzantine, we'll say, starts with what is essentially 6 rows of 2. So just like this. So we go 2, 2, and 2. Go like that. And so we take these top 2 rings, and forgive me for being a little unsteady, I'm trying to look through the camera today. And we fold them back so that they look like that. If that camera will focus for us. Come on. I believe in you. Oop, come on. There it goes. So it looks like that. And we take what will be our center pieces, which in this case is the gold filled, and we hook it through the bottoms of these 2 rings here. So we hook it through right like that. And I, of course, will probably be doing actual tutorials for this. This is just kind of a quick step of what I'm doing. All that kind of stuff. So we take our second, and we do just the same. Goes right through there. And now we have that locked into place. And we have another link. Ta-da! So that's all Byzantine is. It's all chainmail is. I've heard it compared to knitting with metal, which is my favorite comparison there is. I probably spend more time opening and closing rings in preparation of a project than I do actually weaving. So this is one of my big peculiar hobbies, and my other one is actually animals. I keep and actually very casually breed leopard geckos. I work specifically right now with the Super Snow and Max Snow morphs, although I do have a radar that I have bred, and my Super Snow is an albino raptor. So he's pretty neat. So at some point I will hopefully bring them out and show them off and do a little bit of kind of how they work, all that kind of stuff. So chainmail and lizards, who would have thought? You can actually find my Facebook page. It's going to be Borrowed Time Designs, if you like. But for right now, we're just going to do a few more links of this, and then we'll probably do some fast forwarding or some sort of magic, and we'll get to where we want to be. I'm sorry about the camera not focusing on me. It's not quite used to this kind of work, I don't think. And I'm out of closed rings because I didn't plan this well. So now we are just going to do a whole bunch of closing. So in my experience, these take usually about, we'll say 150 rings total, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the length we're working with. But pretty much for a standard 8-inch bracelet with a toggle, that's usually about what I end up using. So these are 4mm inner diameter, 18 gauge, which means the gauge of them is 18 thick. The higher the gauge, the thinner the metal is. I'm actually not physically able to work with most thicker metals, so I tend to work with the little stuff, but this seems to be pretty much the perfect radius in my experience. I think it looks really great. I think it creates a really nice, elegant look, and especially with Byzantine, the rings lock together in a perfect size. Don't know if y'all heard that snap, but that is what you want every time you close a ring. That lets you know that the ring's edges made a good connection and you're actually where you need to be. The trick to good looking chainmail is a ring that's closed well. I learned that early on, and I learned it the hard way. They also last a lot longer. If you have a ring that's not fully closed or if it's bent outward, don't ever do that, by the way. You'll see I opened these rings by taking them and doing that, or doing that, as opposed to this, because that results in weakened metal. And you never ever want that with chainmail, because remember, this stuff is armor. If it can't stop a sword, what's the point of wearing it? Alright, but I'm getting a little bit rambly, so for now, we'll take a pause, and I'll get back to you once I've got this all finished up. Alright folks, welcome back. So, we have finished up, throwing our stuff around, we have finished up this length it's supposed to be. So as you can see, it may actually be a little bit longer, that's okay. So, what we have is our 2 gold, and then we have a single ring here. This is made out of silver. And we have our toggle, and then we will tuck these together, just like that. And we'll do that, and we'll close them up. That little bitty snap is just what we want. Alright, and so 1 down, and 2. Alright, and so that's all there is to it. So these will get shipped off to their new home, probably by tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to listen to me. My name's Emily again. I'm super excited to be here. I hope y'all enjoy Peculiar Interests.